Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yawman Dota, coming to you with my fourth pubcast, brought to you in part by the user Romp over on the Dota 2 Casted subreddit. This game is going to be around the 6k MMR mark, so we're hoping for some good action. We're going to get right into it right now. This is going to be the draft. It is a ranked all-pick match, so they are going to be taking turns. I'm going to try to dissect this as it goes along. First pick up for the Radiant is going to be the Troll Warlord. Probably going to be either their solo mid player or their carry one role player. One of those heroes that does pretty well with levels, but it really excels with farm. Gonna want to try to get that Helm of the Dominator up early, so he can just man up with his ultimate, just right click against pretty much anyone in the early games. And we're waiting for the second pick from the Dire coming out. It's gonna be a Shadow Shaman. Most likely going to be their safe lane farmer support player. Going to be looking for those the stacking and pulling from him, but also synergizes really well with a lot of heroes that need setup spells in order to get their skill set off. Being able to hex someone is going to slow them down, disable any of their escapes, as well as the shackle is going to hold them completely in place. Second pickup for the Radiant is going to be that Axe. Capable of either being their solo offlane player or a jungler. His Q, the Berserker's Call, definitely a good spell for increasing his armor, being able to tank up some right clicks, as well as if he's in the offlane. Always nice to see him pick up an early level in that battle hunger. Gives him some extra move speed, as well as slowing the enemy hero. So typically Axe, also capable of jungling, usually going to get that counter helix. Capable of taking out large amounts of creeps, as well as with that Berserker's Call. Basically, they're not going to do very much damage. Usually picks up a Stout Shield in order to counteract any of the small physical damage being put out by those melee creeps. Second pickup for the Dire is going to be the Storm Spirit. Most likely going to be their mid player. Capable, if he goes up against the Troll Warlord, it's going to be a pretty even match. Neither one of them really going to be able to push the other one too far out of lane. Once they do hit level 6, though, Storm Spirit, very capable of initiating on the Troll Warlord. Probably going to get some backup from whatever the support players are in the top lane for them. Not really one of those heroes that is capable of farming the safe lane, but doesn't really synergize that well with the Shadow Shaman, so most likely going to be their mid player. Third pickup for the Radiant is going to be the Magnus. That's pretty much all three cores that they're going to need in order to have a complete lineup. Most likely going to be it probably will now be a Troll Warlord safe lane. Magnus usually is going to be that solo mid-roll capable of spamming out his shockwave and just bottle crowing or going for runes. Skewer allows him to usually outmaneuver most players in order to get those runes. He is capable of offlaning as well. Typically not the most traditional role for him. Skewer does give him an escape, so he is capable of filling that role, but usually is kind of mana dependent in order to get farm. You want to get a Blink Dagger up on Magnus as quickly as possible. Third pickup for the Dire is going to be that Mirana. Synergizes really well with Shadow Shaman whenever he shackles someone. Really easy to get that arrow off. Also capable of offlaning, though, in the same sense that Magnus is capable with Skewer. Mirana's going to have that leap. Going to be able to get away from a lot of tricky situations. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Shadow Shaman and Mirana going together, whether that's going to be in a dual lane or in a defensive tri-lane. Not really sure they're going to want to be doing an offensive tri-lane based on the fact that they do have an Axe and he could be jungling, so he'd be able to come around and help out the bottom lane whenever he needs to. Fourth pickup for the Radiant is going to be that Crystal Maiden. Going to be pretty nice for the Magnus as well as the Axe. Axe kind of mana dependent in the jungle when it comes to Berserker's Call, if he wants to get the armor up. Magnus makes it a little bit easier if he wants to go into that offlane role. Doesn't have to really rely on taking the courier from the mid player in order to bottle crow or leave his lane for those runes that the mana aura from Crystal Maiden capable of giving him a lot of passive mana regen. So the fourth pickup for the Dire is going to be that Earth Spirit. Usually going to be an offlane hero, perfectly capable of doing it with the rolling boulder. Very good escape in the same sense that Mirana and Magnus have their abilities to escape. Wouldn't be surprised, depending on what this fifth pickup is, if they want to throw the lanes into a 2-1-2 and have the Shadow Shaman Mirana together and Earth Spirit and someone else together. Last pickup for the Radiant's going to be that Nyx Assassin. This most likely is going to be their off-lane player, that Spike Carapace, capable of stopping pretty much any initiation right in its tracks. So the last pickup for the Dire is going to be the Drow Ranger. That's most likely going to be their safe lane farmer. They are going to have 4 out of their 5 heroes are going to be ranged, capable of giving that precision aura globally and just dealing a lot of right-click damage out from those supports even. So going through the lineups, we're going to have on the Radiant, Baby playing the Troll Warlord. Axe is going to be played by Kongzi. I'm going to switch this to free camera real quickly. Over on middle lane on the Magnus is going to be Dawn. Over on the Nyx Assassin and the off lane is going to be Dighton. And on the Crystal Maiden is going to be Stealth Wolf. Over for the Dire, we're going to have Martins. Over on the Shadow Shaman, Mirana, we're going to have Romp. Storm Spirit is going to be played by our friendly Chinese player over here. Earth Spirit also going to be played by his friendly Chinese player. And finally, on the Drow Ranger, we're going to have El Zinga, thank you. So starting off here, we're going to see the Shadow Shaman, Storm Spirit, and Drow really putting a lot of effort in getting that top rune. Shadow Shaman is going to throw out the Ether Shock in order to deal a little bit of damage to that Magnus. He's going to walk away and go back for his block most likely. Down this bottom lane, we can see a pretty similar setup for the Radiant. Just definitely trying to secure that rune for the Axe. As this plays out, it does look like it's going to be an Axe in the jungle with the Crystal Maiden and the Troll Warlord going off into the safe lane. We're going to see the Magnus in the mid lane getting that block off, as well as the Nyx Assassin in the off lane. He did get a ward up towards here in the Dire jungle, going to be capable of seeing either rotations out or when Shadow Shaman is going to be coming around in order to harass him. Storm Spirit is going to be that mid matchup against the Magnus. Not really going to favor anyone too much. Magnus, even if he gets initiated by Ball Lightning, if he has full health, he's going to be pretty tanky and he's going to be capable of skewering away. At the same time, he is going to be capable of using Shockwave in order to spam the wave and get the farm that he desires. Down this bottom lane, we are going to have the Crystal Maiden and the Troll Warlord, and for the Dire, we're going to have the Earth Spirit and the Mirana. An interesting combination. Earth Spirit is going to be capable of stunning occasionally in order to set up for Mirana arrows, but if Mirana does end up landing a large arrow, he is going to be capable of rolling in from a larger distance away in order to come in there and deal some extra backup damage, as well as getting some EXP for the kill and setting up Mirana too. So we get the last hits and denies up here. Over in the mid lane, we do see that right off the bat it is going to be Storm Spirit who's leading the Magnus in the last hits, 8-0 to 3-0. Magnus is only level 2, almost level 3, probably going to get another level in his Shockwave. Going to be capable of farming up a little bit better once he starts doing that. Has about 588 gold, capable of getting the bottle in about 120. So that's really what he's going to be looking to do, is spam out the Shockwaves and then get some farm in order to get the bottle, and then just going for the creeps around the 2 for every 2 minute mark. Next assassin going to throw out that stun, going to miss on the Drow Ranger. So we can see back here, the Shadow Shaman is pulling the wave. Going to need to pull through as the camp is not stacked. Otherwise, the lane is going to push towards the Radiant Tower. Here in the bottom lane, going to have the Crystal Maiden rotating down towards bottom room, which is going to be invisibility. Let's going to see if she wants to come back over. Axe is going to throw out the Whirling Axe. Mirana's going to miss with her arrow. All 3 heroes getting pretty low. Looks like Crystal Maiden is going to move over towards this mid lane. Let's going to see if they're going to be able to get the kill on the Storm Spirit. He does have his bottle, so he is back up at full HP. Crystal Maiden's going to set up towards the high ground. Storm Spirit's playing pretty conservatively back on his high ground. It's going to take the Crystal Maiden to get pretty close to the tower and maybe reveal the fact that she is there invisible. Magnus is going to have his bottle now. Storm Spirit kind of senses that something is up. Supports are missing from the bottom lane. They did have vision on it from this rune down here that she did get the invisibility rune, so he has to be assuming that that's the case right now. Over here, Shadow Shaman is going to get the pull through. and it also takes away the Radiant creep wave as well. So Drow Ranger tries to get the back down towards the Dire creep wave in order to tank that up, but it looks like Shadow Shaman's going to distract it a little bit. Throws out the Ether Shock over on the Nyx Assassin. Not going to do too much damage though. As we can see, the Crystal Maiden wasted a lot of time over in that mid lane setting up for the Storm Spirit, but is going to have to do the Walk of Shame back to the bottom lane now. You see down here, Troll Warlord 8-1 to the 6-3 of the Mirana, 4-2 on the Earth Spirit. So, you know, he's not really suffering too much by being in a solo lane against Romp as well as the Earth Spirit. See how he's doing in the jungle. Dunks have his Tranquil Boots up already. That's definitely going to be a nice addition to his jungling, capable of not having to walk back to lane if he needs, or back to the base if he needs to. Rolling Boulder's going to come out. They're going to go on this Crystal Maiden over here. She's going to get the Frostbite off. Moonfall's going to come out, and they're going to get first blood for the Mirana over on this Crystal Maiden. So now they're going to know that you spotted these wards out. They're going to notice that the CM had rotated in there. Maybe she might be able to deward now. But you have to figure after that, the gank on the middle lane failed, that they might have seen her with that invisibility rune. Had to be careful about when she was walking back into the jungle with her incredibly low starting move speed. One of the slowest, if not the slowest in the game. In this top lane, Drow's going to be 19-5, not doing too poorly. Has her boots in the Wraith Band. Mid lane, Storm Spirit is farming really well, 28-6. Has the boots, the bottle, another 700 gold in the bank. Earth Spirit is going to walk back to base. Probably going to pick up his boots. Already has the TP scroll. Just wants to get a little more mana. Surprised he didn't just ferry himself out of Clarity. Does have that really low starting mana pool. Only 286 at level 3. Axe is going to pick up his boots as well as a Blade of Attack. Going to be going for phase boots here. Drow throwing some harass out towards the Nyx Assassin. Getting a decent amount of his health out. The Orb attack from Drow is going to allow her to get right next to the creep wave and still auto-attack. You're going to get the Hex over on the Nyx Assassin, but the stun comes out at the same time, keeping the Shackles from following up with the Shadow Shaman. You're going to see Mirana expend her elite down in this bottom lane, getting initiated on a little bit by the Troll Warlord using the Whirling Axes. On this mid lane, we're going to see Storm Spirit continue to farm up. Magnus is starting to catch up now that he has that level 3 Shockwave. Capable of just doing a little bit of damage to all the creeps, and he's just going to back off and use Shockwave to get all the last hits in that situation. You're going to see Earth Spirit roam into this jungle, looking for the Crystal Maiden. They know that the lane's pushed a little bit, so they are going to come over here, try to get some experience from these creeps dying. Crystal Maiden, still no boots. They're going to get the silence over on the Crystal Maiden. Throws out the rock. Let's see if the arrow comes out from Mirana. They might not even need it. Starfall comes out, and they're going to do enough damage. Axe is here. Let's see if Troll Warlord and him want to go over on the Earth Spirit and the Mirana now. Looks like Troll Warlord is just going to farm up this creep that got left over. Going to see the Storm Spirit come down here, too. He is going to bottle up an Illusion Room. Let's see if they want to reinitiate. He does have his Soul Ring finished already, so it's going to be a decent and large mana pool coming out from him right off the get-go. Magnus does have the 9 charges on his magic stick. Going to be capable of filling up a little bit if he does get initiated on by the storm. Whether it's enough to save him or not might be a different story. He does have 1,300 gold, working pretty quickly towards that Blink Dagger. Set to probably have that around the 9 or 10 minute mark if he continues at this rate. Down this bottom lane, we are going to see the Shadow Shaman rotate in here. He's going to get the Hex off. Probably it's going to be the Troll Warlord probably following here. Here comes the Starfall from Mirana, going to deal a lot of damage. The kick from the Earth Spirit's actually what's going to do him in the end. See Storm Spirit Illusions out soon, a little harass damage to Magnus. He is pretty tanky now, 853 mana compared to the 739 from the Storm, who does actually also have the Null Talisman, giving him a little bit of extra HP there. Nyx Assassin is getting a decent amount of experience in farm. He's level 6 already. We're going to see the silence from the Gus come out on Drow. Nyx Assassin looks like he's just probably going to stick around here. Gets the stun over on her. Doesn't have enough mana for anything other than Spike Carapace. Not sure it's going to warrant him getting a kill on him. Drow's probably just going to turn around and continue to throw frost arrows out at him. Down this bottom lane, we see Troll Warlord walking back here, giving CM a little bit of solo farm and EXP, which he desperately needs, being level 3 right now. Arrow's going to come out. Let's see if it connects. She is going to stand still. It's going to be a long duration arrow over on this Crystal Maiden. Mirana doesn't have enough mana for the Starfall, so she's probably just going to have to walk away from this, actually. So you can see the Shadow Shaman rotating in over at the Storm Spirit. They might be able to initiation over on there. Does he have? He does not have the Vortex. He's going to keep zipping. He needs to get one more right click off. Isn't going to have enough mana to get there. Magnus is just going to walk away from this. The Shadow Shaman not capable of getting in range for either the Hex or the Shackles. Up in this top lane, you're going to see Drow Ranger use her salve, but it's going to get cancelled by the stun for the Nyx Assassin. He's going to walk up again. Neither of these two have very much mana, but it is going to be the Drow Ranger who's going to win in this right-click war. She is level 6. She is going to have that first level of marksmanship, which is going to give her a 40 bonus agility. Definitely buffing up her right-clicks, as you can see, already doing 126 damage. See the Magnus rotate back in, throws out a skewer over on the Storm Spirit. Going to get him down to around half health if you can get some rotations in over here, but it is going to be the Shadow Shaman doubling back towards mid to see. They do have the ward on the high ground spotting him out. He is hasted up. Here comes the Hex, well as the Shackles. They're probably just going to be able to kill him with right clicks. It is going to be the Remnant from the Storm Spirit that does him in. You want down in this bottom lane, our Spirit is going to throw out a rock. It's the stun from Marana is going to hit over on the Troll Warlord. Meanwhile, they are splitting their damage up, so they're not going to be having enough burst in order to take down either of these two heroes. Axe is in the jungle with 2k gold in his bank, as well as still has his Tranquil Boots. He is going to probably be going for that blink pretty soon. We are going to see an Invis Nyx Assassin coming out from over here. Frostbite's going to come up. He's going to get the Vendetta off, as well as the stun. Throws out the mana burn over on the Marana. She does throw out the ulti to go invisible. They have a sentry. They are prepared, and Marana's going to fall too. So up in this top lane, Drow Ranger is going to have 1,200 gold. Almost has enough for that Midas if that's what she's going to want to go. She does already have the power tread, so you have to assume that Glove of Haste is going to be for a Midas. Axe is going to pick up his Blink Daggers, 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Not bad timing. Going to be able to come join in on this bottom lane a lot more easily. Even if he wants to go up against the Storm Spirit in mid lane, he might be able to get that as well. Magnus up to 1,700 gold. Got set back a little bit by that death in the mid lane from the hasted Shadow Shaman. Marana is going to TP back down to this bottom lane. Let's see if she can get a ultimate or a arrow off on the Troll Warlord. Going to miss him on him though. Breaks him down really low with that the Starfall. Maxed out at level 4. Going to get the roll in from the the Earth Spirit. Going to get Vision over on there, but he is going to just pull that one Remnant over in order to get the kill. Axe also is going to get a kill on this top lane. There was the Shadow Shaman wards dropped. He is going to blink in and find the Drow Ranger. It looks like there was also a Storm Spirit up here too who got caught out. But Shadow Shaman does get the wards down. It does end up taking the tower with it, but they do lose 2 other heroes in the process. See, Stormstir's still doing pretty well, 53 and 6. He does have a death to his name, dragging him back a little bit. He's gonna finish those power treads. Still has the Soul Ring. Gonna get initiation over here on the Magnus. Whether he wants to commit to this or not is a different story. That maxed out Shockwave is gonna be pretty discouraging. Does have the Shadow Shaman as backup. Looks like Magnus is gonna finish that Blink Dagger. 11 minutes in, not bad at all for a mid lane player. See if he's going to be able to get the blink skewer in after the Axe decides to blink it and call. There's that going to be. Here comes the skewer back. He's going to be able to ball lightning out of this if he can get away with it. No battle hunger over on the Axe. Not going to be able to take him out at all. Just going to bottle up and probably stick around. Does have the Soul Ring still if he wants to try to initiate. Going to have to be quick about it though because he could be brought low and killed with just one Shockwave in that situation.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Looks like down here, Marana just doing some damage to the bottom tier 1 tower for the Radiant. Looks like they are going to rotate the Troll Warlord as well as the Axe down here. Looks like the Storm Spirit is going to go for the bottom rune, going to bottle up a double damage rune. See if they want to try to get this tower and potentially dive underneath it with that rune. Axe is going to get, probably looking to get the deny, is going to get it off. See, Storm Spirit wants to go in off of this. Doesn't look like he's going to. This Nyx Assassin just getting some more XP up in this top lane. Did get one rotation out. Does have a finished hand of Midas, which is definitely going to help keep him relevant, regardless of whether or not he's getting those pickoffs with Vendetta, or with the Vendetta or not. Meanwhile, down in this mid lane, Storm Spirit, or Earth Spirit, looks like he might have just rolled in and caught out by the Axe Berserker's Call. We're going to have the zip in from the Storm. Going to go over on this Crystal Maiden. Going to pop her immediately. See if the Magnus or the Axe want to try to get him back, but looks like he's just going to be able to walk away. So look over in this mid lane. Shadow Shaman gets a little too close to the wave. Magnus is going to be able to blink in as well as the Axe and get an easy kill on him. That burst damage combined with the Culling Blade from the Axe very easily taking down the Shadow Shaman, who's going to have a pretty paltry HP pool at the moment. It's early into the game. He is level 8. It's not too bad, but still going to be way too little HP to be sticking around there themselves with a Magnus and an Axe that both have blinks already. So going forward, I wouldn't be really that surprised if it wasn't the Dire who decided to start rolling around as 5 with this invisible Nyx Assassin who's going to be going around, as well as the Blink Calls and Blink RPs from the Magnus. Not going to be really able to stay by themselves and farm solo anymore without constantly being in trouble of fear of the Nyx Assassin sitting on top of them or someone with vision getting ready to blink in. We are going to get the Whirling Blades over on the Shadow Shaman. He's going to get pulled in by the Earth Spirit, but it looks like he's going to fall in the end. Doesn't even need to use the Culling Blade. Gets the wards off, so they're going to do a decent amount of damage over here. Storm Spirit's going to come in as well. Magnetize comes out on both the Axe and the Crystal Maiden. Looks like the Axe is going to fall in the end of it. Magnetize combined with the Storm Spirit damage. Troll Warlord is going to come in. He's going to get the pull over on the Earth Spirit. Magnus goes for the RP, actually uses it, and whiffs. Not really sure what happened there. So Storm Spirit is going to have that point booster in the Soul Ring. Going to look like he's going to be going towards that Bloodstone, hoping to finish that sometime in the near future. Remember this mid lane, the arrow is going to come out. Let's see if Magnus is able to avoid it. He is. So I doubt that even with the low mana cost that Storm Spirit has right now, his mana pool is just way too low, sub 100 right now. Even with the Soul Ring, he's not going to be capable of following up much damage if the Mirana does hit that arrow. Next Assassin's going to be Vendetta up, moving up this top lane, looking for the Drow Ranger. Not sure if she spotted this out. She is playing pretty far back. She is going to finish that Mask of Madness, so if she managed to get a gust off before Nyx Assassin's capable of killing her, he does have that level 2 Vendetta, so it's going to do a lot of damage. She's already taken out more than half her HP. Here comes the stun as well as the mana burn. Going to be more than enough to take down the Drow Ranger. We see some rotations up from the Earth Spirit, as well as the Mirana arrow coming out. Not going to hit him, but he's going to get the Spike Carapace off. Earth Spirit is going to throw the Magnetize over on this Nyx Assassin. He's going to take more than enough damage from the Shadow Shaman's Ether Shock. Axe is going to come in as well. Let's see if he wants to be a blink in. He does blink in. Berserker's Call over on the Earth Spirit. Magnus comes in as well. Going to use the Skewer, but ends up skewering him up to the high ground. On the backside, Crystal Maiden's going to come in, and Shadow Shaman's going to be able to Ether Shock her down. Shackles comes out on the Axe. Silence from the Earth Spirit, as well as the Starfall from the Mirana. Second one down. The second Starfall is going to hit him and kill him. Did have a chance to not get that, though, with the aggro from the creeps, the neutral camp over there. So lucky that he did. Troll Warlord's going to pop his ulti, not going to deal too much damage to this bottom tower, but if looks like most of the Dire is poised to try to do a small push up top, even though they've already taken the tier 1. Drow Ranger is going to come down here bottom. Gets the deny off, actually. Throws the gust out. Pops the Mask of Madness. Mirana's going to throw out the ulti. We're going to have some rotations out. The Troll Warlord is going to notice this. Let's see if he can get away before taking too much damage from the Drow. He does. So, in the end, the Mirana ulti kind of discouraging the Troll Warlord from sticking around, which did help the Drow Ranger do a decent amount of damage, but at the same time, not really sure he would have won that man fight with the Mask of Madness up on the Drow Ranger. Down in this bottom lane, Crystal Maiden's going to spot out the Storm Spirit. Going to throw the Frostbite out. Storm's just going to zip over and grab this DD, whether he wants to back off again or not. They are going to notice this was sentryed in the bottom rune spot, so Nyx Assassin not going to go forward with that Vendetta. See the Drow Ranger farming up these ancient camps, capable of doing that now with the lifesteal from the Mask of Madness as well as the improved attack speed. They are going to smoke up. Smoke's going to miss the Earth Spirit, so they will notice him coming. He is the one initiating, leading the charge. Axe going to throw out that his ulti, going to just farm up the Ancients with that. Mirana throws the arrow into the Roche, actually is going to miss it. So Drow Ranger going to try to farm this up using the Mask of Madness buff, as well as the lifesteal. Down in this bottom lane, we are going to see the Nyx Assassin setting up for the Storm Spirit. Is going to be capable of taking out a decent chunk of his mana after this Vendetta hit. See if Storm Spirit wants to stick around. So he does have the Axe coming in as well. Gets the Berserker's Call off. Vendetta hit's going to come out as well as the stun. There's the mana drain. That's going to just do... The mana burn is actually going to be the thing that keeps him from being able to ball lightning away, as well as the Culling Blade from Axe. Drow is going to continue to try to farm this Roshan down here. Mirana going to miss another arrow over on that. It's constantly moving around because Drow can't just sit there and tank up the bashes from the Roshan. Going to notice this invisibility room bottom. Nyx is going to be the one to grab that. He's going to come in and check to see if someone's doing this Rosh. He's going to find the Drow Ranger. He's going to throw this stun out. Mana Burn's not going to do any damage because she doesn't have any mana to begin with. So it's going to be the Mirana Starfall that comes down. The Troll Warlord is going to come in as well. Throws out the ulti. Magnus looking for the Blink RP or Skewer, one of the two. Frostbite's going to go over in the Shadow Shaman. He drops the wards. The pull over on the Shadow Shaman from the Earth Spirit definitely going to help. Axe is actually trapped inside these wards. He's going to do a little bit of damage, take out one of the wards, and be able to just walk out of it. So again, it is going to look like it's going to be a Drow Ranger for a Nyx Assassin. Mirana dropping really low as well. She throws out the ulti. Let's see if they can reinitiate off of this. Storm Spirit's going to get his Electric Vortex off. Going to do a lot of damage to that Axe. Does have the Blade Mail though, so he's going to eat a lot of damage himself, and he's going to fall again after coming back. So it looks like Troll Warlord, recognizing that the Drow Ranger's dead and that he's already done a lot of damage to the Roshan, is going to come in and just take it for himself. Meanwhile, Shadow Shaman in really deep against the Radiant jungle, probably going to pay for this with his life. Axe does have enough for the Culling Blade, and that's what's going to take him down. Going to see the Crystal Maiden pop a ward up of either Ancients. Going to want to make sure that the Troll Warlord's capable of taking these himself. Going to start stacking for them as well. Not sure if they noticed that the Dire have a ward up there, though. Mirana's going to have a pretty long-range arrow over on this Magnus. He's going to get the Starfall up. The second Starfall is going to do enough damage to take him down. Crystal Maiden is going to Frostbite, then get the regen rune, so she's going to get back most of her HP, but she's going to die to the Storm Spirit zipping in after just coming back from the dead. He does have that Soul Booster done. Only going to need the recipe in order to have the finished Bloodstone now. Nyx Assassin is going to sit here invisible. We're going to get the Berserker's Call off on the Axe. Going to get the pull from the Earth Spirit. He's going to throw out the Magnetize, doing a lot of damage. Storm Spirit's going to come back in. The Mirana Starfall is going to kill the Axe. Let's see, the Earth Spirit's going to fall for his troubles as well. Looks like Nyx Assassin is going to fall too. We're going to have the Troll Warlord in here. He does have Aegis. Going to see if Mirana can set up for an arrow here. Off cooldown in 1 second. Vortex is there as well too, though. They are going to hit it. And there's the Rampage for Mirana. My goodness. 20 minutes in, FaZe Boots Drum Aquila Mirana just getting an Rampage. Jeez, just master of the last hits. Really making up for missing those arrows for the Drow Ranger in the Roche pit there. You can see Magnus is going to have that Blink RP up. He does have the Mithril Hammer as well as the Ogre Club. Going to blink away from the Gust from the Drow Ranger. Arrow's going to come out. Going to miss, though. Looks like just the combination of the Frostbite, the Shockwave, and the Crystal Nova is going to be enough to take down the Drow. Going to throw the RP over on the Mirana. In comes the Axe as well, and as well as the Earth Spirit. Going to get the Berserker's Call. 2 calls off for the Axe, taking down both Mirana and the Shadow Shaman. Here comes the Shockwave. Looks like he's going to get another call and another Culling Blade for the Axe. From Rampage to triple kill. Dire to Radiant. A little bit back and forth here. Very well played by the Axe as well as the Crystal Maiden. Going to get this D-Ward off in the top lane. Going to go to look to stack those Ancients one more time. Have a triple stack up for this Troll Warlord if he wants to. He's going to have his Vlads as well as his Sange and Yasha finished. Looks like we're going to have a zip in on the middle lane. Storm Spirit is going to catch the Magnus. Just doing a lot of damage. Has that finished Bloodstone. Up to 9 charges now. Definitely what he wants to do now that he has that. Go roaming around the map, getting some pickoffs, looking for those fights with his team, and just getting as many charges on that Bloodstone as he can. Mirana is going to finish her Maelstrom. Whether she decides to stick with that or go into a finished Mjolnir immediately. Vendetta's going to go over on the Storm Spirit. He's going to get the mana burn off as well, but Storm Spirit's just going to be able to ball lightning and walk away from that. Crystal Maiden Going to pick up some more Observer Wards, Sentries, and Dust. See if she realizes that they're warded over on this high ground. They should have seen that she picked those things up, though, so they should be aware the support should be picking up some Sentries for themselves, too, to counter-ward that. Magnus is going to ping out this ancient stack. Axe is going to stack it again for the Troll Warlord. Whether it's going to be Axe or the Troll who end up getting it, there is going to be a finished BKB up on the Axe. So that's going to really help next fight. The only one really doing a ton of damage to him is going to be that the Drow Ranger, as well as maybe the Murano now with that finished Maelstrom. Gonna hear the arrow go off for the Murana. Gonna hit on the Crystal Maiden, actually, just skimming around those creeps. Not really sure they want to follow up on this. There is an invisible Nyx Assassin here in the mid lane. They're gonna notice the Axe at least. They're gonna throw out the Murana ulti. Everyone going invisible. So it is gonna take those supports getting up close to drop the sentries if they are gonna get their initiation off. Nyx Assassin is gonna walk right by a dire sentry ward. Gonna get pinged out by the Storm Spirit. So it looks like the Earth Spirit is gonna be able to just walk away. Just going to expend that Vendetta over on one of the larger hard cam creeps.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Magnus about another 800 gold until he has that finished BKB, but that's really going to help with his Blink initiations along with the Axe. Both of them are going to have those BKBs. So it's going to be really hard for the Dire team to fight into this. Just if you mess up the Axe initiation, you just have to worry about the follow-up initiation from the Magnus, trying to back up your heroes that get caught in by the Berserker's Call from Axe. Looks like up in this top lane, Storm Spirit is going to find the Nyx Assassin with that Sentry ward down, along with the Murana. She is going to have a bottled haste rune too, so there really wasn't much chance for him getting away from that. Over in the mid lane, we are going to see the Magnus, the Axe, as well as the Crystal Maiden teamed up. We are going to get the roll-in from the Earth Spirit. Magnus is just going to blink away. He's going to skewer over this Earth Spirit. He's going to kick out and throw out the Silence. Throws out the Magnetize out. Going to take out the Crystal Maiden in the back line. Throws out the Shadow Shaman, throws out the wards. Gets the Culling Blade on him as Axe, but the combination of the Murana Starfall as well as the Shadow Shaman wards is going to be enough to take down the Axe. So really nice rotations over by the Dire team. Looked like it was just going to be the Radiant who was there after they just killed the Nyx Assassin up in the top lane, but well played by the Murana as well as the Earth Spirit to be there with the Shadow Shaman, get some backup. Looks like we are going to have the Hasted Muranas down here by the tier 2 middle of the Radiant. She is hasted, so it's not going to be too hard for her to get away. Storm Spirit's going to come in, throws out the Vortex. Murana throws a nice arrow over the Magnus. He's going to get stunned. Rolling from the Earth Spirit. Going to miss over on the Troll Warlord. They're going to get a TP in from the Nyx Assassin. He's going to blink up, throw out the stun. Murana's going to be able to leap away, though. So you can see, Blink Dagger picked up the Nyx Assassin. That's going to be a really important pickup. Troll Warlord is going to have that Ogre Club. Wouldn't be surprised if he's going for BKB next. Just because there is so fewer threats when it's just the Murana right-clicks as well as the Drow Ranger right-clicks when they have to deal with it when they're BKB'd up. Because if they have that Storm Spirit zipping around doing a lot of right-click damage with that Overload and the Remnants, it's going to be really hard to deal with without BKB. Storm Spirit is going to have a finished Oblivion Staff up on him. Probably going to be a Orchid of Malevolence for him. Shadow Shaman does have the finished Mana Boots, 150 extra gold. They are going to be smoked up in this bottom lane. No wards down here for the Dire or for the Radiant. They're going to pass on picking up this Bounty Rune in order, just in case there is. See if they're going to find this Axe down here farming the hard camp. As soon as he rotates up in order to get this, he's going to be fogged, and they're going to notice that their smoke's going to wear off. There's their smoke worn off. Ball in from the Storm Spirit. He's not going to find him yet. Axe is going to pop that Blade Mail. Vortex over. The Troll Warlord's here as well. Goes at the Whirling Blade. Shadow Shaman's going to hex him. You're going to eat already a lot of damage from the Whirling Blades, though. Right-clicks are going to be enough before the Fade time of the Murana goes in. Skewer over on the Storm Spirit. Going to get silenced up as all three heroes from the Drought Gust. Might be the de-initiation that they needed in order to get away from that without losing anyone, though. So we're going to see 1,500 gold over up on this Crystal Maiden. I'm going to have to assume that she's either saving up for a BKB, but most likely going to be that Blink Dagger that she gets. Looking to just blink and Frostbite in the similar way that the Shadow Shaman would want to, too. Gonna glyph up for the Dire team over in this mid lane. Axe is gonna expend the ulti. It's gonna be worn off before the end of this. Silence is gonna come out. Murana Arrow as well. Gonna connect on the Magnus. See if they want to go off of this. Storm Spirit's gonna come in, use the Electric Vortex. The Axe is gonna blink in and use Berserker's Call as well. Drow Ranger really needs to be careful with that Mask of Madness up, just because she's gonna eat a lot of damage. Storm Spirit's gonna die on the backside. Looks like all of the Radiant team is just gonna pop their BKBs and continue to march down this mid lane while the de-initiation from the Dire team after just losing the Storm Spirit Drow Ranger is way too low in order to try to defend this right now. Gonna need to go back to base and heal up before she comes back to help. So this could be an opportunity for the Dire in order to get some kind of initiation off now that the BKBs are down for the Radiant. RP did not get expended though, so they still have the Blink RP from the Magnus. Hex is going to come up from the Axe. She from the Shadow Shaman. He's going to get the War Trap over on the Axe. He's taking a lot of damage while he's still stuck inside. Finally gets out. Earth Spirit's going to get the Magnetize off, but he's going to fall for it. Crystal Maiden walks up into those wards, and he's going to die. The Magnus is going to come in as well, expend the RP, but going to die for it too. Storm Spirit's going to die to the Troll Warlord on the backside, but it looks like Mirana's going to be the one who follows up. Triple kill for the Troll Warlord, as well as a double kill for the Mirana, but that's going to be a 5-man wipe in favor of the Dire right now. So it looks like Drow Ranger and Mirana are going to be capable of just walking in the Stro Pits by themselves, but he's not going to be up for like another minute at least. So I wouldn't be surprised they are going to move down towards this bottom lane. Might just try to take the tier 2. Is going to be a buyback available on the Troll Warlord as well as the Crystal Maiden if they want to expend it. But it is considered that this bottom tower in the Radiant safe lane is one of the most unsought after towers, so they might just let it fall. They do have a glyph if they want to expend it though. They are going to use it. Not really sure they're going to be capable of mounting any kind of defense for this, though. Just going to delay them a little bit. So they're going to double back, and look to see if that Roshan's up, but he's still not going to be up for another at least 25 seconds. Shadow Shaman only has a Sentry Ward with him. See if he wants to do that D-Ward for them in middle, just so in that bottom rune spot, so that they can take the Roshan a little more safely without the Nyx Assassin coming in. Top lane, the Storm Spirit is farming up, has finished his second Oblivion Staff, is going to be going for that Orchid. Finish BKB over on the Troll Warlord. He's going to pick up a Blink Dagger as well. So that's going to be nice. They do have multiple forms of initiation now. Blink Dagger on 4 out of their 5 heroes, and Crystal Maiden actually almost has enough for her. So that's going to be a 5-man Blink squad over on the Radiant. So no matter when they get caught out or if they decide to initiate, there's going to be follow-up from a lot of their heroes. Nyx Assassin is going to walk right under the Sentry Ward from the Dire. Their Observer Ward did wear off, so not sure they're really going to notice this rotation. He's going to check to see if anyone's doing the rush. Crystal Maiden is going to get a ward up on that high ground. Most of the Dire team is up towards their jungle, though. See if they want to decide to buy a smoke and try to go in there and take it themselves with the Troll Warlord. Looks like the Courier is going to ferry out the finished Orchid for the Storm. That's going to be really nice for his initiation if he can get that silence off, keeping the Magnus from RPing, as well as keeping the Nyx Assassin from getting away with Vendetta. Going to have a finished Yule Scepter up over on the Earth Spirit as well. Mirana did decide to go to finish that Mjolnir before going into anything else. Does get a Yasha finished up on her. Wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be turning into a Manta style next. Nyx Assassin is going to have the Staff of Wizardry. Probably going to be turning that into a Dagon. Not really sure if it's going to be a 4-staff, but most likely not. Going to hear an initiation over on the Axe. Going to blink in and call. Shadow Shaman's going to get the wards off as well as the shackles. BKB is from the Magnus as well. Going to use the Skewer. Not going to take Storm Spirit very far. The invisibility from the Mirana ulti going to be able to let the Dire just walk away from this. They are going to get the kill for the Shadow Shaman in favor of the Axe. So that is going to be for the Dire's favor.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
See Crystal Maiden down here just kind of farming up the jungle. Everyone's just... It doesn't look like they really want to be initiating without that Axe. Really relying on him to get the Blink Berserker's call off before they're following up with the Magnus RP. But the Shadow Shaman doing a lot of damage before he ends up... He is falling most of the fights, but getting a lot of those initiations off with either the hacks into the Troll Trap on the Axe or just getting those wards down, which is really what he wants to do in those fights. Usually just being able to get his hacks as well as the Mass Serpent wards down. So up on this top lane, Storm Spirit is going to be... Spot out this Magnus with the Earth Spirit. He's going to throw the Yules up over on the Troll Warlord. Troll's going to blink over up here. Storm Spirit's going to have to ball lining away. Is out of mana. Not sure there's going to be any follow-up to that, though. They do rotate the axe in after he died, but it does look like the Mirana's coming in as well. Nyx is going to be Vendetta'd up. They do have that tier 1 tower. He's going to blink up and miss the stun. Going to get the mana burst off, but it's going to be Axe who blinks in and calls. Not going to get the Culling Blade off for the final hit. It is going to be the Troll Warlord who gets the kill. Meanwhile, down in the Roshan pit, Drow is going to pick that up. Already has the finished Daedalus and the Mask of Madness. Has the Ogre Club. Probably going to be working towards that BKB. Looks like meanwhile in the top lane, Troll Warlord's going to throw out the ultimate. They are going to glyph this up. Let's see if they want to try to come help. Storm Spirit, the Nyx Assassin actually is going to find the Shadow Shaman out. He's just going to get the stun, the Vendetta, the stun, and the mana burn. It's going to be enough to take him down. So they're going to get that tower up there for free after losing that Shadow Shaman. So while they do get the Aegis, they do lose a tower as well as the Shadow Shaman. Drow's going to throw out the Gust. It's going to miss on the Troll Warlord. Mirana's going to throw out the arrow. It is going to hit on the Axe. It's going to throw the Mjolnir buff over on the Storm Spirit. Troll Warlord's going to throw out his ulti again and start dealing damage to this tier 3. It is going to be Axe blinking in and getting the Berserker's Call off. Solo RP over onto the Storm Spirit. He's going to get Culling Blade down. That's going to be enough for him. No more RP. Drow's going to try to man fight up against this Axe. Going to get the Culling Blade off on him. It's going to be the Aegis that gets popped, though. Let's see if they can do anything after this. Earth Spirit's going to come in and get a Silence in on 2. Throws out the Magnetize. Not going to hit anyone, though. BKB up from the Magnus, not going to be able to use the Frost Arrows in order to chase him down. But that's going to wear off in a couple seconds. Back on the backside, it's going to be the Mirana who picks up the Nyx Assassin with the Starfall. Going to get the right click over on that Magnus too in the end of it. It's going to be a double kill for the Mirana. This looks like the Crystal Maiden and the Axe are going to get back, but other than that, they're going to trade a Storm Spirit in order to get 3 heroes from the Radiant. Not going to lose that tier 3 tower down in the top lane. And we are going to see the Shadow Shaman, the Drow Ranger, and the Earth Spirit coming towards that mid lane push. Let's see if Axe wants to blink in and get a call on that. Would have been a good spot. They're grouped up around the creeps right now. Now he's in a spot where they can't really get all 3. Going to risk being reinitiated on by them. He is going to have the almost finished Agnum Scepter done in his inventory. Just needs one more piece for it. Mass Different Words are going to come down. They're going to glyph up this mid tower. Let's see, they probably should try to surmount some kind of defense. It is only the Crystal Maiden who's up, but the Troll Warlord's going to be up in a second, as well as the Magnus and the Nyx Assassin. They are going to get this tower. Let's see if they want to move on to the racks. Drow is going to drop that Mask of Madness. Troll Warlord does have that blink, as well as an ultimate orb. It is getting pretty tanky, 2100 health. They're going to be at least able to farm these Mass Serpent Wards. But let's see if they might be able to defend this range barracks. Mirana Arrow is going to come out, going to barely miss over on that Troll Warlord. Storm Spirit's going to continue farm. Has that Mithril Hammer. Probably going to be going for a BKB himself. Gem picked up over on the Shadow Shaman. He knows that they've been going around and warding and dewarding, so he's just going to want to be the one who is going to get the map control for his team, as well as spotting out that Nyx Assassin when he's walking around before these team fights. Saints and Yasha is going to be picked up on the Mirana. Decides to go for that instead of the Manta style. Should be interesting. He's going to increase her right-click damage. Not going to be able to get rid of any debuffs that she gets from the Manta style, though. Meanwhile, Drow is going to pick up her BKB, but the Troll Warlord is going to finish his Scotty. He's going to be doing a lot of slow and right-click damage. It looks like he's going to be hasted up. The Radiant team is going to start moving towards this mid lane, perhaps the Dire Jungle. But if they do, they're not going to find anyone there. Just waiting up here. They do all have blinks, so they might just be baiting with this Troll. And Power's going to come over from the Magnus over on that Troll Warlord. He's getting a lot of bonus damage from that. They are going to throw the Mirana ulti out, but they're not going to find anyone in the duration of the time that they were invisible for. Might be scout. They might just gotten scouted out by the Radiant Courier. They're going to get a blinking over on the Axe with the Storm Spirit. He is BKB'd up. Here comes the Mass Serpent Wards. Gets the Hex off as well as the Shackles. Magnetize is going to come out. RP is going to be thrown too. Ticking down is most of the Radiant. They're going to get the Culling Blade over there. The Freezing Field from the Crystal Maiden over on the high ground going to do a lot of damage. Looks like Storm Spirit's going to be the only sole survivor from this. And he's actually going to fall in the back lines to the Nyx Assassin as well as the Troll Warlord. Nyx Assassin getting that last pick off. It was the Force Staff that he decided to go for. So they're going to be able to just farm up these Mass Serpent wards. Big team fight for the Radiant there. Going to be about a 1,300 gold in swing in their favor. As you can see, the net worth going towards that 0 mark. Only about 1,000 gold in favor of the Dire at this point. EXP right around the same. Around 2,500, 2,250 in favor of the Dire. Doesn't really look like their Radiant are going to be able to get much off of this, though. They might be able to get that tier 2 in the mid lane that they were going for earlier, but Shadow Shaman's going to be up in 2 seconds, as well as the Earth Spirit in 10, so might be able to dissuade them from going for this. With the BKB back up online for the Troll Warlord, though, might be able to just blink in with the Nyx Assassin and him and just do a lot of damage with that Scotty. You get the Troll Warlord ulti coming out. They do have a glyph for the Dire here. Earth Spirit's back up. Storm Spirit and Drought Ranger are up in a few seconds, though. See if they decide to continue off of this. Probably just going to back off, which does look like they're going to do. Regen down on this bottom rune spot. Troll Warlord is going to pick that up, come back up to full health. They're going to notice this Dire ward. It is going to expire shortly, though. So they know they're all down there. Let's see if the Dire want to go down into their jungle and make something happen. Going to be the Vanguard picked up for the Earth Spirit. Probably going into that Crimson Guard now. Unlikely that he's just going to go for the lone Vanguard. Demon Edge picked up over on the Mirana. Going to be working either towards that Daedalus or an MKB. They're going to throw the Mirana ulti out. See if they can find anyone. Going to come pings out over on this Troll Warlord. Magnus is saying, get back, buddy. They're all missing. See if they're going to notice them. They do have that sentry ward down here. See if they walk over it. Courier's going to be bringing out some observers and sentries too. Looks like they're just going to not do anything with that smoke and just go back to farming, though. Storm Spirit's going to go in and check to see if the Rosh is up. He is not, though. So it looks like the Dire team is just going to leave this bottom lane. Looks like there might be initiation over on the Storm Spirit, though. Nyx Assassin is there. Let's see if he wants to get a blink and stun into the mana burn. None of his teammates are there to back him up at this point, though. Nyx Assassin is going to pick up that gem from last time, though, so they will be capable of de-warding up on this high ground for the Dire if they do decide to go up there. Mid lane, we're going to have the Storm Spirit pushing while the Radiant decide to go on this bottom tier 2. See if the Dire want to mount a defense over this. Crystal Maiden is going to get a ward up on the high ground by the Rosh Pit. Axe is just going to burn through that tower really quickly with his ulti. No glyph for them. Troll Warlord is going to have something flying out on the Courier. It is going to be Boots of Travel. Axe also has his finished Agnum Scepter if he wants to grab that as well. Looks like Storm Spirit is going to push down this mid lane. Is going to get the last hit on that Rax. Blinking from the Axe. Going to throw out the Berserker Call. Shockwave's going to come out. Storm's just going to BKB and Ball Lightning away, though. Only has 3 Bloodstone charges up on that, so it's not going to provide him a lot of regen right now, but it is going to be nice to get that the second melee, or the range Rax down in that mid lane. So they're going to have to defend against Mega Creeps pretty often. If they don't decide to push in that mid lane, it is going to just naturally push towards the Radiant side. See, Drown Ranger still sitting on that Daedalus, has the finished BKB, has 4,300 gold in the bank. Let's see what she wants to go next. Might decide to go for a Butterfly. Could go for an MKB against that Troll Warlord, though. Mirana's still going to have just the Demon Edge. Has enough for 1 Javelin. Let's see if that is what she's going to go if she wants to get that. She could have the finished Chrysalis as well if she wants to. Go for the Daedalus over the MKB. Radiant is going to go check for that Roche, but it's going to be up in a couple seconds, so they're not going to spot it. They are smoked up, though. Not going to be noticed by these rotations out. They might have seen the Nyx Assassin just go invisible, though. So we're going to get the blink in over on the Shadow Shaman. He's going to die really quickly. Arrow's going to come out from the Rana. It's going to hit over on this Axe. Don't think they're going to be going on this, though, after the Shadow Shaman died so quickly. So it's going to be a good opportunity if the Radiant want to double back and take this Roshan. But there is a Storm Spirit going around on the top lane, pushing that out and threatening their tier 3. It is going to be a really large creep wave, though. So someone is going to have to defend this. All they really need is the Troll Warlord and get this Roshan, though. He's going to fall really quickly. That's going to be the Aegis and the Cheese. Looks like it's going to be the Magnus who gets the Aegis, is the Axe who's going to get the Cheese. Wouldn't be surprised to see if they start to favor the Blink RP from the Magnus in order to get that initiation. He is going to pick up the Oblivion Staff, going for that Refresher Orb. Earth Spirit still doesn't have that finished Vanguard. And Shadow Shaman sitting on 1800 gold. Wouldn't be surprised if he's saving up for a Blink Dagger. CM also going to have a finished Ghost Scepter. That's really going to help her if she starts getting solo picked off by the Marana or the Drow Ranger. Going to be able to protect herself from that. You are going to see the Dire grouping up around their tier 3 tower in the mid lane. Not really sure if they're setting up for a smoke or what, because their creeps are pushed really far towards the base of the Radiant right now. Not sure who they're going to be defending against. Drow Ranger is going to pick up the Talisman of Evasion, so it is going to be that butterfly she's going for. I doubt it's going to be the Heaven's Halberd. So from this courier, we are going to see a Smoke of Deceit. Radiant is going to smoke up. Probably just use this Axe for bait, keeping him out in that mid lane. He's actually going to TP down to the bottom lane. Let's see if the Dire team decides that they want to try to rotate down on this, but Radiant is going to come up here. They might be able to find that Storm Spirit out, but he does have his BKB and capable of ball lightning away if he does fall into some trouble. Looks like the courier is going to pick up a Reaver for the Troll Warlord. He does have the Helmet Dominator already, probably going to be with that Satanic that he picks up. He is going to be 6-slotted after that. I wouldn't be surprised if he saves up a little bit after that, saves for buyback, and then sells the Sanji Yasha for something different. So he is going to have the finished Satanic over on him. It's going to be really hard to take him down in these fights. 3,600 health as well as the Satanic. If he combines that with his Battle Trance, he's going to be able to go from no HP to full HP in just 2 to 3 seconds. So Dire Team is going to sit back here towards their mid tower, understanding that the Radiant are pretty farmed up and capable of taking them on. They do have that Aegis as well as the Cheese too, so that is most likely what they're worried about. So you can see the Radiant are going to try to push into the high ground here. Aethershock's going to come out, just going to barely tickle the Troll Warlord. He's going to get silenced up. Blink in the call from the Axe. RP as well from the Magnus. Going to hit on 2. Axe is going to miss the call. The Troll Warlord's going to come back in on the other side, though, with his BKB and just clean up both the Drow and the Shadow Shaman. Storm Spirit's going to come in as well. Ice Vortex. He's going to have the Magnetize coming out from the Earth Spirit. He's going to get it off on a couple heroes. Nyx Assassin might fall as well as the Axe. On the backside, the Magnus and the Nyx Assassin do die. They are going to get the Axe in the end of it. So it's going to be a buyback from the Shadow Shaman and the Drow, but after that, they are just going to be able to clean up. Marana is going to get a kill down on the Troll Warlord as well. So really good fight from the Dire team, understanding that they have their buybacks available, and then just losing the Drow and the Shadow Shaman, immediately buying back, understanding that they need to fight then and there. Troll Lord is going to buy back into the game, recognizing that they could just push down middle. Not sure if they're going to try to backdoor that bottom Rax, but not going to be probably able to end the game now that Axe is bought back especially. Nyx Assassin and Magnus both have buyback too. See if they want to hold those until the fight starts, and then they can buy back and start going on the Dire team. Shadow Shaman is going to opt for 2 casual bracers instead of the Blink Dagger. Storm Spirit going to zip out. Guys have the Battle Hunger on him from the Axe. Looks like the Radiant are going to chase this. They did buy back on the Nyx Assassin. Looks like the Dire are going to just try to de-engage here and just walk away from this. And it looks like the Radiant are going to be capable of just defending against this push after buying back. Dire team unfortunately did not have their creep wave down in that bottom lane. They're going to check for the Roshan, but he's not going to be up for a while. So buybacks from a lot of heroes, those fights. Checking out the net worth graph. It's going to go up way towards the Radiant team, but then that sharp dip down is going to be the fight that they had up towards the tier 3 and the Dire base. Almost equaling out at 0 now. As far as XP, not really that significant either way at 47 minutes into the game, only 2,500 in favor of the Dire. They are going to come back ready to D their own barracks again, hoping to get a similar type of fight off. Let's see who has buyback right now. It's only going to be the Marana and the Earth Spirit. So Drow Ranger and Shadow Shaman especially going to have to be careful in these fights not to die because they're not capable of defending. Magnus is going to have it in about 15 gold though. Storm Spirit as well in about 50, so all of these heroes going to look to be able to get their engagements off without trying to sacrifice the Drow or the Shadow Shaman for these. Assassin's going to come up, check for wards on the high ground up there. They are going to get a smoke up from the Radiant. See where they want to go. Looks like they're making moves towards a pincer movement on both sides, but the Dire is going to have a similar idea. They're going to be smoked up down here. Looks like both teams are going to go hunting for the other one. Roshan is not up, so see if they want to pick up either of these bounty runes. Might get spotted out that it's missing from the Radiant team. They are all the way up in the Dire jungle, though. Not sure either team is going to spot each other out. They might end up meeting and clashing in that mid lane, though. Marana's going to throw out a scouting arrow. He's not going to find anyone there. The smoke has worn off for the Radiant team. They're going to blink up towards these Ancients. Let's see if the Dire want to try to make a rotation down on it. They are going to at least get a ward down on this bottom lane. Get pinged out by the Storm Spirit. He's the only one there, though. If he goes in on this, it's not going to end very well for me. He's just going to back off. The Storm Spirit is going to have the finished Mystic Staff. Probably going for that Sheep Stick. Only needs to get the Mana Stone as well as the Ultimate Orb. You can hear the Nyx Vendetta going off. Now they're going to go looking for them in the Dire jungle again, but same situation as it was when they just smoked up there. No one's up there farming. Just looking towards that bottom lane because the Dire already had the mid lane. Have been looking a couple times in order to get down on that bottom racks. They do have that ward up in the bottom lane as well as in the bottom rune spot, so that's the area of the map that they're looking to fight in right now because that's where they have the most vision. We are going to have the Shadow Shaman coming up here towards the Dire jungle again, though. So let's see if he gets spotted out by that by the axe that was up there. Looks like they are just going to back off, though. Nyx Assassin is going to pick up his own Mystic Staff. Whether he's going to go for a Shivas or a Sheep Stick, I would have to imagine it's going to be the Sheep Stick. Finish Butterfly over on the Drow Ranger. So she's not going to have buyback for this next fight if she wants to. Is 2 minutes until she has that back up again, so she will be able to farm that 1,200 gold by that time, most likely, unless they have to fight. Nyx Assassin is going to use that Vendetta again, going to go out looking, but the only people that are anywhere close to being picked off by that is going to be this Marana in the bottom lane. Otherwise, everyone's just safe up in the Dire jungle at the moment. Marana is going to have that finished MKB. She's going for the Perseverance. I have to imagine that's going to be a Lincoln Sphere. She's going to sit here and farm. Might run into the Radiant team if she decides to stick around. She's going to leap and just walk away, though. Nyx Assassin's Vendetta is going to wear off shortly. No one around here to scout him out, though. Both teams just sitting back and farming for the moment. Storm Spirit is going to have enough for that Sheep Stick if he wants to get it, but he does have buyback, so I'm not sure he's going to want to expend that. Roshan is going to be up in 12 seconds, so might see the next skirmish breaking out around there. Neither team has wards down here, though. Rana's going to throw out the arrow, and it's just going to barely miss the spawn of the Roshan. Magnus still sitting on, still have the Oblivion Stone, or Oblivion Staff, excuse me. As the Ring of Health as well as the recipe for the Fresh War. All he's going to need is that Void Stone now. And he's going to have that finished RP, or double RP with the Refresher Orb. They are going to spot out this Nyx Assassin from the Storm Spirit. He does have that gem. He's going to silence him up, but that's going to be the only damage he does to him. See if Axe wants to go in on this. Most of the Dire team is circling down towards this bottom rune in the Roshan pit. See if they want to go in. Drow Ranger does have a DD rune, so it's going to be incredibly easy and quick for her to take this down with those crits. Doing 1,500 damage each time. Mirana's going to throw out an arrow and hit him. Finished refresher is done on the Magnus, so next team fight is going to be big for the Radiant. So it's going to look like the Drow Ranger is going to be the one to pick up the Aegis, and the Shadow Shaman is going to be the one to pick up the cheese. Surprised that they did not want to give the Aegis to the Storm Spirit. He is slightly 6-slotted. They do decide to give the cheese to him, so that's one thing. Mirana is going to finish that Lincoln Spear. So it looks like the Dire poising to just march down this mid lane again. The only real option is try to start a fight where there's no tower and then move in to try to just fight against the backdoor protection of the bottom lane. Mirana's is going to throw an arrow out, not going to connect on anyone. They do see the Dire moving in now, though. Let's see if they want to start getting that initiation off. They do have the double RP from the Magnus. We're going to get the blink in from the Troll Warlord. He's going to eat the Shadow Shaman really quickly. Drow's going to get caught out as well. They are going to throw the Mirana ulti out. Throws out the Silence. Crystal Maiden is probably going to fall as well. Pops the Ghost Scepter. It is going to be the Storm Spirit who falls the next time. The Magnus is going to get the Skewer off. Magnetize doing a lot of damage, though. Picks off the Crystal Maiden. Mirana is going to die on the backside. The Troll Warlord doing a lot of damage. Drow's going to throw out the Gus and start doing the right-click battle with him, but he's going to have that Satanic Gable while fighting up with her. Nyx Assassin is going to be headed up. Storm Spirit is going to be capable of pulling the Drow if he wants to. He does, but the Scotty and the ranged attacks from the Troll Warlord is going to be too much for the Drow. Going to get the Nyx Assassin is going to try to Force Staff himself in front of the Earth Spirit in order to keep his rolling boulder from getting him away, but he does end up rolling away. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, the creeps are beating on these tier 4 towers, both of them losing about a fifth of their HP. This bottom tower also on its last leg, on a third of its HP, but it was a nice defense from the Radiant there, especially with the Drow having the Aegis as well as the cheese on the Storm Spirit, which he did not have a chance to expend. So you can see up in this top lane, yeah, Troll Warlord does use his boots of travel to come up here. They are going to glyph this up. Yule Scepter from the Earth Spirit. Going to look to roll in. He does throw the Silence out. So Troll Warlord is probably just going to be capable of taking this tower. He's going to start backing away. Roll in from the Earth Spirit. He's going to look to stun him and silence him. He does. Storm Spirit's here as well. BKB is going to be popped by the Troll Warlord. Anyone he initiates on is going to take a lot of damage. Roll away from the Earth Spirit's going to be cancelled. He's going to get vortexed in by the Storm Spirit. And a decent amount of damage to him. Looking for the kick from the Earth Spirit. He walks back and gets it. Magnetize on him as well. Looks like it might be enough damage to take down the Troll Warlord, and it is. He does have buyback. Down for 117 seconds, though. 5 seconds till the Mirana's up and 15 for the Drow. I'd like to see the Dire on this attempt at pushing in. Try to go either for that top lane or for that bottom lane now, though. The initiations down on the mid tower is just not really working out for them too well. Maddox is going to have an RP up after using the Refresher Orb last time. Didn't have enough HP while he was skewering back to get the RP off at the last second. Storm Spirit is going to go for a Shiva's Guard over that Sheep Stick. It is going to be nice whenever he ball lightnings in if he uses that Shiva's first. Going to get a lot of AoE damage and slow, especially going to help against that Troll Warlord. Long range Mirana arrow is going to come in and hit that axe. Doesn't look like they're going to initiate off this though. They're going to come back and try to get their creep wave in with that push. So they might actually just completely back off of this. See if Mirana wants to throw out an arrow and potentially get someone stunned for a long duration. They do know that there are heroes in this mid lane. So anyone that comes out is going to be at risk. Romp is going to call out his hello to his mother. Hello, Romp's mom. If you're watching this, which I doubt you are. Nyx Assassin's still sitting on that Mystic Staff. He is going to have something coming out on the Courier. It is going to be the Ultimate Orb. He is going to be the one going for that Sheep Stick. So Axe is going to have the plate mail up on him. Wouldn't be surprised if he's also going to be going for that Shiva's Guard. Nyx Assassin is going to have the finish Scythe of Vice up on him. Going to be really nice for those next team fight in order to get a sheep off over on either the Mirana, the Storm, or the Drow Ranger before anything happens. Roshan is going to be up in 5 minutes and 55 seconds, so not really sure if both teams are just going to want to stall and wait for that and just wait for the chance to push in with an Aegis, or if they're just going to go for it without it. Going to be a while until they can. Drow Ranger really only needs... She could get rid of the Town Porter Scroll and the Treads and get a Boots of Travel and get one more slot of items. Mirana could potentially sell the drums and go for something else, as well as the Sange and Yasha, but most likely going to go for a Daedalus next, maybe a Desolator. Magnus is going to have that Refresher RP back up for the next fight, though. Shadow Shaman Illusion is going to scout out the Axe. Not sure if they realize that it is just an illusion based on how much damage it's taking from just Battle Hunger. Hopefully they don't spend anything. They are going to throw the Mirana arrow out. It's going to hit on a range creep. Storm Spirit's going to come in. Not going to throw out the Vortex, though. So that Shadow Shaman is going to opt for a Ghost Scepter over the Blink Dagger. Gonna have the Earth Spirit throwing in the rock. Gonna silence and stun up on the axe. Nothing else is gonna come of it though. Looking at the net worth, the Troll Warlord is topping that out at 30,000, followed by the Mirana at 25. So both of these guys being the main damage dealers. Troll Warlord doing a ton of damage with the Scotty though. Looks like the Shadow Shaman wards are going to go down. We're going to get a blink in. BKB from the Troll Warlord. He's going to throw the RP over out on the Storm Spirit. Are going to be able to bring him down. Freezing Field coming out from the Crystal Maiden. Looks like the Mirana ulti is going to be thrown out as well, and they're just going to try to disengage. Going to get the arrow over on the Magnus. He does not have enough. Does throw out both of his RPs actually during that fight. Looks like the Dire is just going to try to back away though without their Storm Spirit. Happy with getting just the tier 3 tower. It is going to be about another 2 minutes until Roshan's up, though. Dire are going to get a ward up here around the Roshan pit, so that will be up for the next time that that's up, which will be useful to them. Radiant not really having any vision besides this one ward on the high ground up here. Crystal Maiden is going to have a couple Observer wards, maybe try to get some vision down at the Roshan pit as well. Shadow Shaman going to be hasted up. Not sure if he's going to do anything other than farm with this though. The rest of his team is falling back into their jungle at the moment. Roshan is going to be back up in 3 minutes. RP up in about 15 seconds. They might want to start looking for fights now if that's going to be back up again soon. Looks like Axe is not going to opt to finish that Shiva's Guard. Does he have buyback? Yes, he does. He's going to opt to have the buyback over the Shiva's Guard for this next fight. Looks like both teams are moving towards that Roshan pit. The timer is going to be a pretty long one, so both of them expecting it to be up any second. Are going to have a smoke up over on the Dire team. Can you use that? Nyx Assassin is invisible down here. See if they spot out this before the Dire team has an opportunity to initiate them. They are going to see them. The smoke's going to wear off. Going to get the blanket and the call from the Axe. Going to get the Sheep Stick over on the Storm Spirit. Shadow Shaman wards are going to go down. The RP is expended over on the Storm Spirit. He's going to die. Crystal Maiden's Freezing Field coming out as well. Call over on the BKB Drow Ranger. She's going to fall. Looks like Magnetize doing a lot of damage. The Earth Spirit's going to roll away. Storm Spirit's going to come in, do a lot of damage to the Crystal Maiden. He's going to die. Or Vortex over on the Nyx Assassin. He's going to die too. Gem on the ground. Looks like the Magnus is going to fall as well. Looks like they might be able to take out the Storm Spirit too. Axe blinks in, goes for the call, but just ends up dying from the right clicks of the Mirana and the Storm Spirit. Looks like it is going to be the Troll Warlord who falls in the end. Axe does buy back, but that's going to be a 5-0 trade in favor of the Dire. Big fight for them. Another double kill for the Mirana. As we can see, the only people who have buyback on the Radiant is going to be the Magnus and the Crystal Maiden. So that Axe, after he bought back, is going to be the lone defender about this. I'm not really sure he's capable of doing that much by himself, though, with all 4 of these heroes from the Dire being down here. Mirana just doing so much damage. Gonna get the buyback over on the Crystal Maiden and the Magnus. They are gonna expend that. Not gonna be in time to defend against their bottom racks being taken. They are. Let's look at the Dire. Is gonna just move in towards the GG, taking out these tier 4s. Jar Ranger doing a lot of damage along with the Mirana. So both tier 4s are down. They're just going to start pounding on the Ancient. Let's see. Axe is going to blink in, get the Berserker's Call off on 2. Storm Spirit's going to zip in as well. BKB pop by the Axe as well as the Drow Ranger. Not going to be able to take her down enough in order to get the Culling Blade off. He's going to fall. Magnus taking a lot of damage as well. He goes down. It's only the Crystal Maiden here. This is probably going to be GG for the Dire. Looks like they are just going to start fountain diving. That is going to be game. Well fought by the Dire. A lot of comeback fights for the Radiant as well as themselves defending their Raxes on the high ground. That one fight in the mid lane, really impressive from the Mirana getting that Rampage. Definitely helped swing the game back in favor of the Dire after the really strong laning phase from the Radiant as well as the ganking. So in the end, 23, 4, and 17 Mirana. The 1 in 10 Magnus does have 20 assists. Did do a decent job, but at the same time, a lot of his Blink RPs were only on 1 or 2 heroes, really focusing on getting that Storm Spirit out of the fights. But afterwards, not capable of getting any lockdown on the Drow with the BKB, as well as the Mirana, who really clearly was their right-click damage dealer for that game. But all in all, pretty good fight, hour and 3 minute game, but good game for the Dire. My name is Jawman Dota. Thanks for watching this game if you decided to stick through the most of it. Any critiques you have would be greatly appreciated. Go ahead and leave them in the comments section, or hit me up on Twitter, Jawman Dota. But thanks for staying, everyone. Have a good night.